Hey guys, happy weekend. I just wanted to show you a day with Bookmap. We're gonna go through the entire day. This is the 7th of May. As you can probably see here, I'm on replay. So this is the 7th of May. And I'm gonna go 16 speed. Right now we have at 8. So I'm gonna go with 16 speed and I'm gonna pause and explain the things that I see and I use in Bookmap every single day. Now, few things before we get going. This is the uh, the original window for Bookmap, and what you see right here, it's called a Traders Map Pro. So the idea of Traders Map Pro is that I have a plugin on it that is deleting the bots, and I'm using an extremely aggressive setup for this. So most of the bots, if not all, will be removed. So what you see here basically, human interaction with the market. So we're looking at the ES futures. You have a few columns right here. They are not important for this exercise when we're looking at the market live. Plus minus column is something that I use. You can see right here, if we are looking to configure it, using quotes delta. So if you decide to make a column, so insert a column, and right here, you're going to choose quote delta. I'm going to just delete that, add this column, and then configure it. So you're going to choose column quotes delta, show bid, show as, so show maximum depth. I have 10. If you remove that, it's just going to calculate everything here. I just need the ones that are very close to the last price traded. And I have this type of view. You can also, split it, have it left. You can see this changes. You can split it like this. It doesn't really matter. So this is what I have right here. The COP is the current order book. That's the chart. That's the volume profile for the chart, and that's the session volume profile. So it really doesn't matter for now. So what we're going to do, and I really don't know what happened throughout the entire day, but we're just going to highlight some things that are important if you're trading with Bookmap. When I trade, I have this chart. Basically, I have Bookmap on one monitor, and then I have on the other monitor, I have a 1 minute chart with a normal VWAP, um, with a normal VWAP on it. And basically, what I can actually do is let me just log into NinjaTrader. Um, so I can show you the other chart. Let's move it to the side now and log in. Traders logging in. All right. I just want to show you the other chart, and then we'll start with, and then we will start with Bookmap. So this is, just get this out of the way. So this is what the other chart looks like, and this thing is always on. So I'm just moving. So this is what the other chart looks like. So I have my zones right here, and then I have a normal VWAP with standard deviation. So one standard deviation away from it, two standard deviations away from it. And then here at the top, the pink lines are 3 standard deviations away from it. I also have a volume profile for the chart. So you can see as it moves based on the chart that I have, uh, basically the chart that I have. So if I zoom in, like see, it's like it catches this area. If I zoom out, it catches more. If I zoom out, it catches even more. And then I have my sessions, my zones that I draw. So basically that's it. So let's just get rid of that for now and start with Bookmap. So we have 16 speed. Now, as far as time of day is concerned, that's 10:54 my time in the morning. Now, mind you, for me, the US cash session starts at 4:30 in the afternoon. So this is about 5 hours and a half before the market starts. This thing right here is the volume pressure imbalance tool for Bookmap. It's plotted right here. I don't look at it, but the moment it hits an overbought or oversold zone in terms of settings, I'm going to just show the settings. So I have it, the moment we get above 80, the threshold, it will actually play a sound. So I don't need to have it charted here. I have the cumulative volume delta charted here, but I'll hear the sound as soon as it plays out. So let's just start and see what happens. So you're not going to see any candles, whatever. Obviously, right from the get-go, you can see we have some zone here. That's mild liquidity, strong liquidity right here, about 50, 51. And usually, if you know what I trade, and if you've watched the video about the zones, the 50 and the century mark are important zones. Now, I don't have here the VWAP. The VWAP is on the other chart for NinjaTrader, so I don't know where the VWAP is, but I'm just going to go off of this, what I see right here, and we're going to discuss. One more thing, and I'm going to stop it again right here. One more thing I want to mention is the very fact that we have only white dots. Why is that? A lot of people get confused between green and red dots, and they'll think when it's a green dot, it's a large amount of buying. When it's a red dot, it's a large amount of selling. Not always true. For example, if you're familiar with how actually order flow and order filling work, you would know that, for example, we're going down and you see a large red dot right here. Well, guess what? All the limit buy orders are filled on the bid. That's why you're showing a very large negative delta. They're filled on the bid, but actually this is a large buy order. And for example, going up, a very big green dot right here. Now, these are all the passive sellers. They have limit sell orders that are filled on the ask. Aggressive buyers bumping into them, they're getting filled. The dot gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That signifies absorption. So it's much easier if you just have the dots and just read the dots instead of trying to figure out, all right, is it on the buy or on the sell side? You wouldn't know. But if we have liquidity and if we have a very large dot and it's getting larger and it's getting larger and price not moving anywhere, chances are there's like a very big sell order sitting right here that is getting eaten away by aggressive buyers. So it is a bit tricky. That's why I just don't have the colors. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So we're approaching this zone. And the first thing that I'm looking for, if we're going down, this is going to be a zone that I'm going to be looking for to activate. Obviously, it does not activate. We're just right in the middle, so there's no trade for me right here. Now, if you have the VWAP, obviously, when you have the VWAP, it gets a little bit better. All right, so that's a large absorption right here. You can see that's the largest on the chart. It's large, and I'm going to, as soon as we have a little bit more data, I'm going to switch to 5 minute interval. I just don't like that. But you see there's an absorption, there's more absorption. Trying to get here, nobody's interested, going down. And if I am short, let's say I'm short here. Let's say I decide to short here. This is what I'm going to use to stop. So my stop will be right above this zone right here. I cannot, for example, right here, I'm not going to go long. There's no point because you see the risk reward ratio to the first sort of liquidity zone is right here. That's 53. That's, what is that? That's 61. That's 8 points. Next resistance zones comes at 64. So there's absolutely no point in me getting long here. If anything, I'm going to go short. You see, you have almost 2 to 1 to this zone. So if you really want to do something here, now you're seeing that this bubble starts forming. And mind you, we are at 16 times the normal speed. So you're definitely going to see this bubble forming. You would want to be short. That's the only thing that I can think of. So right here, we have some absorption. So you should be worried now, even though you don't see liquidity. And mind you, as I said, this removes the bots. So if we go back to this exact same time, you can see bots, they added some liquidity right here. So that was a confirmation for you short. You have a stop run right here. Now, I'm not going to tell you whether this is a better version with all the algos coming in. And unfortunately, Bookmap right now cannot give you the stops and the icebergs on a chart with as a copy. So right here is a trader's copy. You cannot have the stops and the iceberg. So you see that's a buy iceberg, that's a stop. You cannot have it on a TraderMap Pro. But let's just go for the TraderMap Pro right now and talk about how it looks. So another absorption right here. Let's see another absorption right here. So here's the volume. Now look what happens. Just look right here. So we have this volume, and now you see they're starting to absorb, and there's some volume showing up right here. Just look at those. So they removed it now. What we're getting. So this goes from orange to yellow. This means that they're removing some of the liquidity. So this might actually be a signal that this might actually go higher. Stop there. See, there's nothing here. Now let's look at this. We had this, right, as a stop. And then we have this liquidity added here. So It might, for sometimes it is beneficial to see the bots, sometimes it's not. So I'll leave it up to you to decide. I'm just gonna go with this one right now. And you see we just bounce from it. Now let's just see this one. So you see they added more liquidity. Now this is yellow. Remember right here when we're looking at it was bluish and now it's yellow. So let's just see here for now, for example. See, so it's yellow, it gets to orange. So that if you want to buy, you definitely can buy right here. Just look at this one right here. So we don't have any liquidity so far coming up on the trader's map. Give me a second. All right, so let's continue. I'm going to switch right here. So you see they're adding some liquidity right here. So that is some form of resistance. You see liquidity. Let's look at the trader's map. Now it shows some support. So more support coming up here. You see the blue line. It wasn't there in just a second. Bouncing off this support. Now this could be a long for you. Definitely using this as a stop. There is some absorption, so it's not a clear long. It's you'd ideally want to see more. Now this is a problem. You see liquidity right here, you see liquidity right here. Which one is going to prevail? So you know there's some resistance on this side, but you'll definitely know that by just looking at these large dots. I mean, that's absorption, that's somebody meeting the buyer. So if there's a buyer, there's a limit order sitting here and somebody's, interacting with them. So you don't really know what's going on. But let's just say you stay with the long. As I said, this is going to be your stop. This is right below the low right here. That's going to be your stop. And I'll just stay right here for now. Now, this is a problem right here. All liquidity moved around here, all liquidity moved around here. So if you manage to enter right around here, you might want to, tighten up your stops right now. We're breaking. There's no transaction right here. We're breaking above it. Next zone that you see is supposed to be right here. This liquidity. Just look at where the liquidity is. Let's just see what happens here. You see there's absolutely no transaction going on right here. If you zoom in a lot, BOOKMAP allows you that. This is the only thing that actually happened. There was no transaction right here. They removed the liquidity, which is good for you. Now we're looking at the 5 minutes. I'm just going to switch to 5 minutes. We haven't updated to switch to 5 minutes. It's much easier. See that liquidity that they added right here. And can we switch to 5 minutes now? Yep, we have enough data. So this is blank, this is empty, a little bit troublesome. I don't like to see nothing going on. Thank you very much for this. So now we're starting to absorb something right here. So if you're long, you see those, you go up and you see those bigger dots, you start to tighten up your stops. On the normal chart, you can see some liquidity right here. Not a lot though. Nothing worrisome for now, but these big dots are a sign that we're actually finding some people that are sellers right here, more sellers right here. On this chart, you won't see anything. This is again, you can see the cumulative volume delta is going up, but this is eventually that's going to be the zone. So let's just stop right here. We turn around, and this is something that is probably a good idea that you see. You see this right here. That is see if I can okay, so let's just see what happens. Just watch. You see flashing. Stop. You see that? These are a bot. This is a bot. Now, if you're watching this live, remember we're 16 plus, so you probably can spot that. That's a bot adding liquidity right here. Price reacts to it, goes back to it, trying to move away from it. Although this liquidity is not staying here, remember, we have a very easy way to hide our orders anyway. So the bot filled. Now, if you're looking at this chart, you are in trouble. You might want to get out of your long or even short. Now, if you're looking at this chart, there's nothing here to see, but I already told you, you have the first signs. So the first signs are these large dots. That's absorption. That's absorption here on the downside, and then you see more absorption coming in. So they are trying to salvage this long. But for now, if you're looking on this chart, you probably would be already out from the trade anyway. And now you can see we've already gone through an hour of data. there's absolutely nothing that you can do right here. There's no trade. There's absolutely nothing. There's liquidity here. There's liquidity here. Pretty much equidistant from the last price. So there's really nothing that you can do here. That's one of the things I want to stress out. If you are okay, so here you see they're adding liquidity. Now what you can do, and you see trying to break, there's no interest right here. No buyers, no sellers, nothing whatsoever. So what you can actually do right now is short. The moment that you see this liquidity showing up, that's 60, 50, whatever, and you have the last price is 58.50. So that's about 2.5, 3 points if you hide your stop behind this. Although, very little, but you also have to understand that we're talking about 4.5 hours pre-market, so liquidity is not that bad. I just look at what happens. See, they're adding. It gets a little bit um, more elevated. So there's like back and forth, back and forth. Let's just see on the normal chart what's happening. And on the normal chart, you actually see we showed the actual liquidity right here on the trader's map. But with bots, we had a stop, short one, only five contracts on the stop. But you can see the liquidity is getting yellow and then orange, and then you have dark red. That's what you want to see. So this short is definitely in play. Let's see where we take it. See, now you see the red here, and now you see, look at, here is what you have in terms of where, if you're short, where this trade might stop. Obviously, this is going to be a warning sign right here. Let's see if they can actually move higher. See, they're trying to. They removed some of the liquidity, went from orange to yellow, but it's still all good. We have blue. Again, we're using this liquidity as resistance, and if it fails, it fails. But okay, they removed the liquidity. That's bad, but this is bad. But look, we have a lot of absorption, so that's an absorption signal right here. BOOKMAP has this indicator, so you have the absorption, and I also have the sweeps indicator. That is a small sweep and an absorption at the same time. Right here, you're still short. This is still fine. So just keep on going with this trade. There's nothing that you can do right here. Using this liquidity as basically a stop for you. And if we move above this liquidity right here, then you are probably taken out of the trade. But there's nothing to be worried about. Right here, you have the liquidity. That's just a failed trade. It happens. It's not 100% by all means. I'll definitely look into short. The moment this liquidity shows up, I'm looking to short. So you have more liquidity coming right here. I still wouldn't short. Let's just look at the other map. So I see a stop, but there's also a buy iceberg right here of 2. And I don't think we saw this liquidity on this chart. Yeah, we did have the liquidity right here on this chart. Our stop would have been here. If we're using the normal chart, probably we could be short a little bit earlier. Right around here, you can probably trim. But again, as I said, even if you stayed in this trade, this is a very positive sign that price is looking to go downward. Let's continue with this chart for just a bit, see how it plays out. And by the way, if you notice something, we kind of played with those buyer sellers right here. There were some stops right above the liquidity. You can see another stop taken out of the trade, and then this goes down. It's not something that is so crazy. Now look, we have a sweep. That's a sweep. You're probably gonna see it on the other chart. Anyway, that's a sweep. You see, there's a sweep. There's a stop also right here. 203 stops activated, and that's actually a big run for such an early time during the day. Then do you see this little thing? They just show liquidity. So what you can do right here is, obviously you can use, what is that, 65, 55, 54 as a stop, and you can obviously enter here on the long side, having this liquidity, aiming for the 65 zone. Now I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm just saying that's a sweep. Usually sweeps like this are stop runs accompanied by 203 contracts for this early in the morning. That's something that you should be looking at. Let's just see right here. So you see there's no liquidity on the trader's map. Now we have liquidity showing up right here. we can stay with either one. It doesn't really matter. And you can see if we are live, this is how fast it goes. Again, we're 16x, normal speed. Remember that is your stop is right around here. I don't know, that probably looks like it's going to fail. Right here you had one absorption, then we have an iceberg coming up here off of this liquidity right here. Double tops, obviously not holding. If you're using just the Traders Map Pro, probably no trade for you. You can hide behind this liquidity right here on this top. You can hide between this liquidity. Here, there's no reason to buy for now. You just watch this. There's some liquidity right here, but it's far away and the buy zone is also far away. Now they removed liquidity right here, so there is space for the price to drop. And then we're just looking. Absorption, obviously, some absorption. They added liquidity right here. And now, right now, looking at this picture, if you decide to go long, based off something that you see on the other chart, normal chart, you would hide your stop somewhere in this liquidity, so it's not easily taken. Then you should be targeting about this zone right here for take profits. And if you see some large dots coming up, tighten up a little bit. Okay, now see this liquidity got removed. There's nothing. This liquidity got removed. Usually that signifies some volatility event coming up. See, it just trying to break. This one is getting removed. There's also an indicator that's stacking and pulling. I don't see any reason to get it, but see, this liquidity got removed. This one is staying here. No color changes, none whatsoever. And see, they hiding up a little bit up here. Looking at this, liquidity got removed. We're staying here. If you decide to go long right around here, you're staying with the trade. Some signs of absorption coming up. More absorption coming up. So you might want to trim something or tighten up. There's nothing here. I usually use this chart because it gives you less in terms of signals, fewer amount of signals. I kind of prefer it. It's just so right now. I was live during this. I was like during this period. I don't know what happened here, but generally, if you see something like this, you just get out. Just trim your trade. It doesn't pay you enough to go through trades that this happens. So something's happening here with data. I don't think that we can go for 5 minutes without data. Maybe BOOKMAP servers were wrong or whatever. But you can see all the liquidity got removed. We have liquidity here. We have liquidity here, right in the middle of. You are right in the middle. So there's no statistical edge being here, right? And it's a fairly simple concept, right? The moment that you get close to some liquidity, and just looking, okay, so they added liquidity right here, and I'm thinking, all right, this might be a reversal. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that this adding of liquidity is sort of a support for the price. Now, if you want to take a trade right here, I don't like blue color, definitely. I prefer to have reds. So if you want to take some trade off of this little liquidity right here, you can obviously can, but you'll have to have a reason for it in the other chart. Maybe like a standard deviation on the VWAP or a zone that you have identified as being support or resistance. Right now, for me, if solely looking at BOOKMAP, there's no trade. Okay, there's big absorption. Now, this changes things a little bit. There's big absorption, and you can see that the cumulative volume delta has been going up. We've been going down. This is going up. And they switched liquidity here from yellow to orange, so they're piling up on the liquidity. Unfortunately, for this early in the market, so we're talking about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my session, this is about 3.5 hours before the market opens. We do have, if we are looking at the stop, proper stop, you're going to be aggressive right here, 49, so you have 4 points, and lose stop, something around 45, but that's going to give you 8 points. And if you think about it, 53.67 is just about 14 to 1. You can try. I wouldn't, unless there is something else on the chart. I'll probably be aggressive and place a stop right around here, looking at this big dot. but I'm not saying this is aggressive. This might fail. Um, More liquidity out here. So the moment that this happens, you know that even if you took a long off of this big absorption here, this is the maximum target that you're expecting now. So this stop immediately, if you took the loose stop, this stop immediately, backstop this order and just wait to see what happens. They added more liquidity right here at 60. So the chances of us going to 67 are now slim and slimmer. This got removed. We're staying here at 63. This got a little bit more. Remember, if let's just say you took it long, your stop should be right here at 49, no more. They added more absorption right here. That's you probably want to tighten up your stop even here at 51, just a few points. They removed that, so they might be actually trying to scare somebody. I don't know. And I'm saying this just because they added here, they removed it, they added here, they added here, they both removed it, and we're just staying at 63 for now as liquidity. And that's what you see here on this chart. Obviously, there's something more right here. And at 58, you can see it was red, now it's blue. You can obviously see some support still staying here at 52. You know, it's the bots trading. You don't have it here on the traders map. And there you go. So here you have aggressive buying. Something from this liquidity obviously stayed in the market. But you see 1, 2, 3 dots getting bigger. This is obviously not absorption right here. You can see a little pattern right here. So it's very little, nothing happening here. The delta is very low, and then we're breaking out. So some aggressive buyers coming in, and then we're starting to decelerate. So obviously absorption. Again, you saw how aggressive buyers were trying to buy. Then we saw absorption. This is something that you have to be, thinking about right now. So maybe trim, maybe push your stop loss above. And then you can see we're just starting to reverse. We have a stop loss. We have on the normal chart, we have some liquidity being added right here. So you still don't have anything right here, but by now you should probably be out of this trade. This got yellow, so that's a positive sign. But again, if you think about it, now you are right here. Your stop should be right here, which is what, 58.49, that's 9 points. And then you have 66, so you have another 8 points, so you don't trade. You're just in the middle. There's no reason to trade. And you just wait. Or it's 16 speed. So we're gonna get through this very fast. I'm gonna try to go through the entire day here. I know it's gonna be a long recording, but I think that, okay, they add in liquidity right here. Stopping right here. Again, you see liquidity right here, no trade. I'm trying to get through this so you can understand my rationale. I might do it in 2 separate videos. I'm just gonna go with it for now and see how it goes. We're going down. You can see they are removing this liquidity is gone. This has a little bit more room to go to the downside. There is some absorption right here happening. They switch liquidity right here to yellow. So this might actually go down further, but then you have bigger dots appearing, trying to defend this level. No interest right here whatsoever. Lower the liquidity. Here. There's no interest here in anything. Some absorption. This might go up. But for now, there's no trade for you. See how the other one's looking. You see there's like adding some liquidity, some absorption right here, and we go up. But on this chart, there's no trade. At least I wouldn't. I see what's going on, but I wouldn't take a long right here. Maybe here you have a 2-to-1 considering this option, but for now, okay. So right here, what you see now, this is a possible short for me. You have the big circles, you have some liquidity right here, you have higher liquidity right here, 67, 61, 6 points, not really. 3-4 points up to this liquidity being aggressive. I just want to see some color changes right here, some stacking on the sell side. next liquidity right here, 51. So you have 10 points, about 3 points here. See, they added some liquidity right here. And you could probably take a short. They removed. So if I take a short here now, I'll be worried. They removed all the liquidity. They added liquidity right here. So yeah, as I said, worried. They're moving up. This got orange color, so that's positive. All right. They added here. They removed that one here. So let's see what happens. There was the liquidity. There's the liquidity right here. So you have an iceberg here. Liquidity being added here. So your short is in jeopardy. 2 zones. That's good. So you have this iceberg right here, and you have this liquidity right here fighting. Okay, so you see what happened? Let me just bring that back, just that back. Come on. I'm sure that's important and interesting. So, as I said, you go probably short here. Is it? Nah, I told you go short here. So, right around here, this zone. This is good. You had that cushion, so about 64. That was about 61. So you had 3 points cushion. This trade shouldn't take you out generally. Then you go down. They show this liquidity right here the moment this happens. So you're not worried. You can basically, as soon as you get to break even, you can probably put your stop at break even just to make sure everything is fine. We go through this liquidity right here, big rings. You just backstop your order. That's what you can do, or just take profit, but it's gonna be a few points. Now, what actually happens is you see the iceberg right here, 58 on the buy side on the iceberg. It's pushing prices up. You have liquidity right here. So now look, they added this liquidity. Now that's a sell signal. So you have this iceberg right here trading, but that's a sell signal. What I'm going to do if I'm on a buy side right here, that's going to be very tight. I'm talking just about a few points, but pre-market is like that. I'm just going to get backstop it right here and leave it be. So far, nothing here. I'm just want to show you to watch here. You see it's flashing. It went from blue to red to yellow to orange. That is your sell problem. So you have a sell problem, remove your order. I want to show you something now. Look, okay. Did you see it? Let's just do it one, speed is 1 now. So I just want to show you what happens. So removing, that's the normal speed. Did you see that? Price is lower. They showed you here the liquid. They just entered that trade on the short side. So what I'm going to do when I see this, I'm entering short. My stop is right above the second level, so right around here. So again, 3 points. See, that's red now. I'm just staying there. I just see what happens. See more absorption coming in. They just flashed it and they just got out, meaning that they removed the order. They just watch. Okay, watch now. There's got to be more. See, price drop one more. They are shorting more liquidity right here, chasing the price. That's the iceberg getting filled. Through the iceberg, red. Now the iceberg is now filled at 90, and there's liquidity right here. Let's see how we go. More liquidity right here. Let's see more red. See, that's the bearishness. That's showing you the bearishness of the move. And now what you have to watch is when those dots start to become big, right? That's the absorption part. So if there is a lot of absorption, then you know you have to get out, or at least backstop your trade. They remove the trade. It's probably some trade around here got filled. No, nothing really filled here. You can see we're talking about milliseconds. Okay, there's a fill. That was a fill. Just watch that. Big. Okay. What do you see? Absorption. Price moved above. There is some volume coming in right here. You're gone. Meaning that you should be out of your trade. It's not 100%, but most of the time this is what's going to happen. One of the two sides. It's a fight. It's a dogfight between the sides. Whereas here you see only this liquidity. You see right here is the bots. These are bots. No human can trade that fast. But I'm just showing you the interaction between the market participants. And it's fascinating. If you look at this through the entire day, you're just going to start seeing things. Okay, I'll just speed it up and see what happens. Okay, 32 is a bit faster than I can actually talk, but you can see they had this liquidity. They go here trying to test. That's the highs right here, showing up some liquidity, going back down. Again, this functions as support for you up until this zone. And it's a very tight zone if you think of it. It's only 3 points. They go to the orange, they break through it. There is some absorption right here, big dots. More big dots, more absorption, adding some liquidity right here. See, this got from blue to yellow. So now if you want to be aggressive, stop right here, take a trade. And obviously you have the time. Orange, absorption, backstop, stay, that's orange, that's yellow. Be mindful now. Big dot, you're backstopped already. Maybe take a little profit. Just wait now. Dot, yellow, blue, blank. Take profit. There is something that appears here. Well, sorry, there is volume appearing here. Yellow, again, little dots. No interest trading here. I'll wait for a big dot. There is the big dot, but this is blue. Doesn't work for me. Bigger dots, no interest trading, bigger dots, yellow appearing, going to white. Think about it. You can trade off the short here, that's your stop. But I need a bigger dot. There's the bigger dot. Stops. That's a short. Stop is right here. Saw the liquidity right here, but going down. You see the bot? Just bring it up a little bit. Am I doing anything? No, not. 1 second. Come on. Can I get the slider? Let's see. Just make it again real time. Show me the red. There we go. Red, yellow, orange. You had all the reasons to go short here. And I'm sorry if you're hearing kids and dogs barking. There's some absorption here, so be mindful. They are building here a zone. That's good. Sorry, we have kids running around the yard with dogs playing. So they removed that liquidity. They added liquidity. Big dots happening here. Just look if something important happens. Like, oops. Did you see the colors here? We had some red flashing and then we had this yellow. That's a problem for you. Might want to get out of this trade. Absorption. We still have the zone here, so you could be safe above the zone as a stop. But now we have more liquidity being added on the buy side, so I would be mindful. Nothing really. Okay, another stop right into this liquidity. This is your short. Now we have some red zones right here, 70. That's about 4 points from the 66, 65, 5 points. 5 points. I'll take it just because, again, we are talking about almost 1-to-1. Well, actually, that's, what is that? 60. I just call it 65. That's 60. 70. So we have 5-5. So basically 1-on-1 risk reward ratio. But this is red. We had a stop, big absorption right here. So I'll take that one for sure. So you see, starting to show some absorption. Absorption level right here. If you took that at 55, that's 65, I'm sorry, and that's a 61, you can definitely take some partial profits if you're trading more than one contract or backstop your trade. And if you see here on the normal chart, there are some darkened out, like stops and icebergs, so forth. They just don't meet the criteria I've set, threshold. That's why you don't see them really, like you see this one right here. And it's not cherry picking. I just have it on. Let me see if stops and indicated on charts. So basically, what I have here for show icebergs, you can see automatic. I have the automatic. I have the standard deviation interval at 30, as the multiplier at 2. And then for stops, I basically think I have the same thing. Yeah, 2 standard deviation multipliers 2 as the interval is 30. So I just have that. And BOOKMAP automatically calculates it based on the activity on the screen. So sometimes what you will see is maybe this will be highlighted a little bit later. Unfortunately, that happens also. This will be highlighted a little bit later because the next period will be very quiet and this will actually get into the threshold at a later point. But it is what it is. That's the biggest circle we have right now. So bigger absorption right here. You might want to take profits here. Okay, if you didn't take profits or you just backstop the trade, that's another reason to stay in the trade. More absorption coming in, and right after that you see more absorption coming in. We're going in, there's more absorption. You just should be probably still in the trade. This is a little bit troublesome right here. Absorption, we snap back to this and they started adding, so just get out. And just because I said now get out, you'd probably break down, but it is what it is. Okay, that's a very sharp move to the downside. They tested this liquidity. And if you're still in the trade, they're still, pushing down. So there's no reason to get out right now. Here, when approach this liquidity, now you have an iceberg of 50 approaching liquidity. Now it's probably a good time to get out if you are. So you saw some indication of absorption, and I don't know why it got removed right now. You have absolutely no idea. Basically, let me just show you that. I want to be as transparent as I can because this is an automatic mode. As the interval is 10, standard multiplier is 20. That's for the absorption indicator. See, there's no more. And for the sweeps indicator, basically same thing. 10, 20, automatic mode. Sound. I have sound, but I just turn it off right now for the purpose of this recording. Then we are approaching here some zone of volume, so I'll probably get out of the trade. And then you see this is flashing, so basically just get out when you hear that. I mean, if you want to reverse, but I think it's getting a little bit tiring for trading back and forth. But basically, this is what can give you the reason to reverse right here. Again, you see now they're adding liquidity. You had these dots, so if you took a long right around right here, just backstop your trade or take some partial profits. It's fine. There is also an iceberg right here. They're adding liquidity right here, so that's for the remainder of the shares or the backstop trade. You're still good. Probably move your stop a little bit lower. See 83. There's some buys coming from this iceberg. Again, stop right around here. Probably can move stop a little bit here, but see larger dot absorptions. So maybe you get stopped out now on your backstop trades. And again, if you're thinking about it, all right, that's from a risk perspective, that's a good long right here. You have 56, you have 59, you have some liquidity right here. You can hide your stop behind the liquidity and you'll be fine based on the other chart. But if you took a long and you see this appearing, now you might be wondering, did I do the right thing? See, stop run 7. This might go up because we still have the liquidity right here. See, they added more liquidity. So on this stop run, you could have easily taken a long position as well. They added liquidity here, however, so it's a problem. And you see, it's a constant play with the bots. No liquidity right here, more liquidity coming. Short, hiding your stop would have been a good idea right here. So I'm going to stop now at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 1.5 hours before the market opens. I'm just going to do another video in the same manner, dissecting the information from 1.5 hours before the market opens until the market closes. I hope you like this. See you in the next video.